had something to do with Summer going missing. Like, something like that, you know, I can't say the exact words. But when she looked me in the eyes and said,
who's he, Daisy?
some guy that was down at Fred Hill's had something to do with Summer going missing.
Damn, killer. It's so good.
On the afternoon of June 15, 2021, at approximately 3:09 p.m, video of Summer Wells leaning on a couple of jugs of milk was taken roughly 8 minutes from home. This would be the last confirmed visual of her. There have been many accounts of what happened in the next 3 hours, but this is what we know almost for sure. By 3:30 to 3:45, Candace, who is Summer's mother, Grandis, who is Candace's mother, and Summer are believed to have returned to the Wells property. Around this same time, Fred Hill, a neighbour living farther down Ben Hill Road, claims to have left the holler. His friend, Chad Arnold, was at his residence during this time. Chad reportedly saw Candace walking down Fred's driveway searching for Summer at approximately 4:30 p.m. Around the same time, between 4:30 and 4:42 p.m, neighbour Jody Sue Brown reports hearing a scream that became muffled, something her children also allegedly heard. Jody Sue lived across the street from the Wells on Ben Hill Road. Candace, when questioned, claimed she did not hear any scream because she was inside the house looking for Summer, with the TV turned up loud. In this same window of time, Candace is also reported to have told a woman named Marlena Crawford that Summer had been missing for about 20 minutes. Over an hour later, 6:09 p.m, Jody heads down her driveway and hears Candace and the boys calling out for Summer. At approximately 6:26 p.m, the 911 call is logged. Don, who claimed to be at work 40 minutes away in Jonesboro, begins heading home. He and Andy, according to their accounts, reportedly arrive at the Wells residence just before 7 p.m, around the time first responders begin to arrive. Despite the volume of information surrounding that 3-hour window between 3:30 and 6:30 p.m, the exact circumstances of Summer's disappearance remain unresolved. Zooming in on this small window on June 15, 2021 is crucial because it cuts through the chaos of the holler, a place where daily life is filled with noise, overlapping stories, and a revolving door of people. That 3-hour span holds the only verifiable sequence of movements, sounds, and witness claims directly tied to the moment Summer Wells vanished. In this small window of time that day, according to each account, Fred left the holler, Andy and Don were at work, Jody was at home with her kids, Grandus was napping, Summer's brothers were in the house watching TV, and the most direct reported sighting place is Candace at Fred Hill's driveway searching for Summer, and she sees a man. Chad Arnold. This man is rumoured to have seen Candace coming down Fred's driveway searching for Summer, but Chad has never confirmed this himself. You see, in the shadows of Beach Creek, few figures are whispered about quite like Chad Arnold. A close friend of Fred Hill, Chad's connection to the holler runs deep and dark. His own brother, Jason Arnold, Fred's best friend, died under mysterious circumstances. A year after his body was found, his skull surfaced in his own yard, unsettling even the most hardened locals.
Jason Arnold is Chad Arnold's brother. Chad Arnold is the man that was seen on Ben Hill Road that day. Jason Arnold held them and shot up their house and held them at gunpoint, trying to collect money that Alan Ajon owed him. So the kidnapping case, actually the person who was charged with it was Jason Arnold. So that's real interesting, though, that you say that. You have George Simpson and Ajon connection there.
Uncle Ajon had his own excavating business and had a few hands working for him who were complaining of not being paid for 3 days' work. Uncle Ajon was confronted by his employees about not getting paid. Uncle Ajon gave him an $8 of drugs and said this should cover it. Weeks later, he went to collect the money for the drug debt, and the following happened. That they were also wore bullet-resistant vests, and they carried two-way radios and a pair of binoculars. found themselves unwittingly entangled in Uncle Ajon's criminal enterprise. These were the employees who complained Uncle Ajon never paid them, and Uncle Ajon paid them in drugs. After a night of drinking at the Hog Wild Saloon, they returned to White's motel room. Only to encounter Uncle Ajon, George Simpson, and John Bowers. Dressed in black and orange, Uncle Ajon demanded payment for a drug debt, setting up a terrifying ordeal for the victims. Under Uncle Ajon's orders, Simpson pulled a handgun, effectively trapping McDavid. Uncle Ajon, growing increasingly agitated, directed George Simpson and John Bowers to end them, brandishing a firearm and issuing killing threats. When their attempts to extort money failed, Uncle Ajon and his associates fled Virginia with the victims in tow. In Virginia, the victims managed to escape their kidnappers during a moment of chaos, fleeing for their lives. They sought refuge at the home of local, who, sensing their distress, promptly called the police. The subsequent investigation uncovered a cache of weapons, incriminating evidence at George Simpson's residence, further solidifying the case against Uncle Ajon and his boys. Uncle Ajon's fate seemed sealed. His convictions on multiple counts, including drug distribution and kidnapping, carried hefty sentences, assuring that justice would be served for his victims and the community at large. George Simpson would go on to escape custody from the Sullivan County Jail and fled to Virginia. He was later found by the U.S. Marshals hiding in a hayloft of a barn. Three victims would later conveniently testify that nothing happened. They didn't know anything about a kidnapping and was just all a big misunderstanding. Taking the heat off of Uncle Ajon, Simpson, and Bowers, they would all go on to be released from jail. Now, how likely is it that Dudley only knew one person on Ben Hill? What about what happened with him and Don? When Dudley was fired and claimed Don did not pay him for 3 days of work, did Dudley tell his uncle, who was used to dealing with this sort of situation?
It's very interesting that the Dudley Ajon thing comes back around again. You know, it's like you think he's just the co-worker that Don fired, and then all of a sudden you realize he was completely pulled into this with all these other people now that are with the Chad Arnold side of things.
Now, Dudley, I think, was in a different group of people. Where was he arrested? He was arrested in Kingsport. Well, yeah, Ricky was arrested in Kingsport too.
Dudley, how you know Ricky Jr. and that squad? That man that was found the day afterwards? I want to call him a Cajun name because I know a Ricky Jr. Y'all gotta have to help me.
Ricky Robin. Ricky Robin.
Marlena and Ricky.
Oh, Marlena.
Ricky Crawford Jr. The rent house.
Yeah.
The couple. What I'm thinking Green Eyes calls the trap house, which is not Ben Hill. Dudley, you go to that house? You know Ricky, you know? You with Don, you know Ricky? You know, like,
I don't know anything about him.
I know Rick Crawford.
Well,
I didn't hang out with Don either.
I know Ricky Crawford.
Ricky Crawford.
You don't know nothing about him. The house, which all got picked up recently at the same time.
Yes,
Maybe not for the same reason or whatever.
Meth charges.
Isolated to get you, Dudley, and Ricky, and everybody else he brought in.
Rick Crawford died.
No, Junior.
Junior, Ricky Crawford's in jail.
Now he got arrested the same day as Dudley.
Right. Well, except for he had a bunch of guns. They got busted with a bunch of guns. I assume stolen.
Drugs and ATF.
Right.
Are we talking about your mother-in-law's boyfriend? Or
me?
I'm confused. Who's Ricky? Yeah, who's Ricky?
Ricky Crawford.
Who's that?
He lived down on Beach Creek.
Oh, okay. Was that the person that was up on the hill that supposedly heard something?
Dudley's dad lived right next to Alan.
Yeah,
right?
They lived next door to each other. Yep. They
in
lived right.
Churchville. So this is really good
on
information
Goshen
that
Valley.
you come out with.
Mm-hmm.
I got cleared by TBI, FBI, Hawkins County. They had me on camera. They had my whereabouts on everywhere I went. When I got a phone call at 1:30 in the morning from my dad, and he's asking me, am I in some kind of trouble? What are you talking about? He said, the state police are at my house. They're looking in my house. He said, they're looking for you. He said, Don Wells sent them here. And I said, damn, he just fired me. Yes, I said, this motherfucker's trying to get out of paying me, Dad.
Wow.
And they never told my dad why they were there. They didn't tell him that they were looking for Summer. They just said Don Wells sent them there. Don Wells knew where I lived at. He didn't have to send them to my dad's house. Okay, I'm a junior. My dad's a senior. He lives in Churchill, Tennessee, which is 20 minutes from Don. And I'm in Virginia, and he knows where I live. So he sent them to my dad's house deliberately. And my dad didn't know that Summer was missing. He just knew, he thought that I was in trouble for something. I told him Don was trying to get out on me on my money. Well, the next morning, my dad gave me this detective's number to call, and that's when I found out about Summer. And my jaw hit the floor. I was like, this son bitch trying to set me up.
Arnold's really well. You know Jason and Chad, you've known him for 20 years. Can you tell us what you know then about when Jason Arnold went up and shot up Alan Ajon's property in Churchill on Goshen Road? Did you hear of that?
Hey,
Yeah, I heard about it.
There's an RJ in the back. I don't know if it's a RJ that's always in the chat. Is it your camera's on? Is that okay?
So you're aware then Jason Arnold worked for Dudley Ajon's dad and uncle. Because see, everyone says there's no connection between Dudley Ajon and that family and the Arnolds, but there's a connection, right?
I couldn't say. I just know of the incident, but I don't know what it was over.
Okay.
I think it was over Jason's son. I'm not sure.
Well, the newspaper said that it was because Jason Arnold went up there to collect his paycheck. Travis Manis ends up at the house with Jason and Chad Arnold when they were young teenagers growing up. He grew up with them. And what makes this interesting is who Travis Manis is. Travis Manis is the father of Heather Lawson's kids, and that's Cindy Simpson's daughter,
which is Roy Simpson's wife.
This is easy pickings. In other words, yeah, you can come here from out of some big city or whatever, high crime rate, but you can come out here and pick up kids. I seen a little girl the other day, about 2 months ago. She's about 5 years old, just standing on the street. I drove by her. I was just shaking my head like, what the freak, and it was just driving me crazy. So when I come back out on the dead end, she's still standing there. I'm like, oh, hell no. So I pull in the driveway. I asked that little girl, I said, where is your parents? She says, Papa's in the house, blah, 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 whatever. So I go and I knock on the door, and he's like, what the fuck? I don't know what he's saying. I knock on the door again, and I just hear some mumbling. So I just opened the door, and I said, this little girl's out here on the freaking road, standing out here, 5-year-old little girl. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't understand what he's saying. I'm like, man, whatever. And I slammed the door, and I went and got in my truck. And I waved at the little girl. I said, see you later, And I got in my truck and I left. So the next thing I freaking hear is this fucking little girl's mother fucking gets on fucking YouTube or Facebook or whatever, says I tried to coerce that little girl into my truck. That's the thanks I get for trying to make sure that little girl was safe. The fucking little girl's fucking bitch mother fucking spread the word that I was trying to coerce that little girl into my truck. or some bullshit.
And see, what a coincidence is, where Cotton lives right here, where Cotton's vehicle was found right there, where his body was found right here. Right here's, right under there's where, on this next road, the house sits right under this bank, that Don tried to pick up that little girl. See what I'm trying to say? It's all right here in one little circle. See, when we go right here, get stopped, right here, this little road we're on left, and I show you that where Don tried to pick up that little girl, and we was in that curve straight above that house. And they're all Simpsons.
Okay.
See, this is where Pete and him lived when Summer went missing as well.
Where?
Up this road. Pete Clark and him lived up this road. Pete and Brandon and all those.
Yeah, we need to look at your phone. Seeing if Jamie will get a hold of you too.
They lived on Blackberry Lane off of this when Summer went missing, not on my home.
So.
See, everything connected right here. Everything's with Pete or Cotton and all them. Pete and Cotton would run around with Betty Joe with us together, you see. But see, right here's where Don tried to pick up that little girl at Boston. See, in this driveway right here. Right there. And see, we was just right up on top of the hill right there. And see, Cotton was found down this hall right here.
It starts with Jason Arnold, and then Mindy Arnold, and then Peggy Hunley, and then it ends up with Brenda Simpson, and then Martha Simpson, the mom, and then it ends up with Roy Simpson, and then it ends up with Crawford's.
Really?
Yeah, it keeps this van. It moves through all of them, and I'm kind of
So
thinking
they all definitely know each other then.
they
if
all
they're
know each
sharing
other. When Ricky Crawford and Celesta and all of them got arrested, how the person that was arrested with them was Jimmy Wallen Jr. And the Jimmy Wallen Jr. is the son of James Wallen, who's the brother of Randy Wallen, Brenda Wallen's husband, the ones that live next door to Roy Simpson. Brenda Wallen is the house right next door to Roy's on Mountain View.
Wow. So that brings Crawford's, that brings the Crawfords and let's see, that brings us all together, like.
Yeah, it brings it all back together again. Well, the craziest thing, so I started pulling up asset records. So that Jimmy Wallen, who was arrested with Ricky Crawford and Celesta Crawford in that meth bust.
Yeah.
When his dad passed away, and when his dad passed away, he received a Nissan Xterra and a Toyota truck that belonged to his dad. So, you know, people who said there's like no connection to Roy Simpson, there's a lot of connection to Roy Simpson on every end, on with the Crawfords, with the Wallens, the arrest that was just made in that meth bus.
Everybody's a suspect!
Fred Hill was arrested yesterday. So, custody status date as of June 13th, 4 p.m. Eastern. So, he was booked in at 4:41 p.m. Eastern, Hawkins County Jail. That's his mugshot.
Today marks 2 years since a little girl in Tennessee vanished from her rural home. Her name is Summer Wells. Sheriff declined an interview in the case. He did email us, though, saying he expects an update on the case in the near future.
He expects an update on the case in the near future.
Hey. Okay, cool.
they've had me on suicide watch because of what I was telling you the other night.
Yeah, what happened?
They took and choked me out in a cell. They was trying to move some dope, get, I don't know, something that had moved out of the cell or something other, and about done me in.
It was over. They were trying to get what? To do some dope.
No, well, they were just taking and trying to move some stuff. Or something.
Oh, dang.
And so yeah.
Dang, what is that?
That's where they brought me back.
Wow, you actually died?
Yeah.
You lost consciousness?
Yes.
And your arrest has
It ain't
nothing to do with Summer, does it?
No. My case ain't got nothing to do with something.
But it was just weird timing, you know, because it was like...
Well, see, they got to come up when they start an investigation like that. In 2 years, they've got to close it and reopen. And where they closed her case, they reopened it again, it opened my case.
Oh, the Summer Wells case? It was closed and reopened, is that what you're saying?
I said where they 2 years was up on Summer, they had to close it and reopen it.
Oh.
To get a new start, it started back new again.
Do they do that every 2 years or something?
Well, where they had dropped hers, and it made mine pop up, that's why they grabbed mine right off the shelf real quick. That's why mine come into play. But it ain't got nothing to do with the Summer Wells.
Right, I didn't think so.
They took me up to investigate about Summer again.
They did? Again?
I got the lie detector test and all that.
They gave you a lie detector test?
I think they found her.
You think they may have found her?
Because he wouldn't straight up answer me. When I asked him if she was in the cave.
In the cave? You think, is that where you were thinking she was?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying she was off like a cliff.
She is underwater.
So you think that they may have found her, really?
Because they wouldn't answer.
They
would just say that they found the cave.
They found the cave?
Yeah.
So, okay, once again...
When I asked them,
Yeah?
they found the cave.
So when you asked if they found Summer, they wouldn't answer you?
No.
They avoided the question?
Yes, so it that they did. They're wanting to give me.
Oh, are you going to take it?
I'm not yet.
Are you going to?
Yes, I don't mind.
You said yes? Okay, awesome. So, okay, when did you find... when?
That's what makes me think of him.
That's what makes you think they found her?
Yes. Clear me from it.
Oh, to clear you? Wow. So can you tell me, when did you find out, or have you known this information for a long time and just kept it to yourself?
Well, no, I'm not.
Huh?
I've not known it that long.
You haven't known it that long?
No.
Okay.
This man just got out of jail not.
He just got out of jail?
Yeah, and he took something. And had told me.
Before he passed away?
Well, they found him dead in the cave.
So you've known since at least February then, right?
Yeah.
Real quick before we get cut off, what's going on? Anything you need me to say? Telling anybody?
I just think lawyers are get lawyers to send some money to you so you can move it to them accounts. They got all my stuff locked down. Said I was under investigation over 2 murders.
What? You're under investigation under 2 murders?
That's what they're trying to say.
What the fuck?
I don't know what they're even talking about.
Brandon, the guy that's on the motorcycle that was in JLR's video, is Chad Arnold's stepson.
Brandon Clark. Before I seen the message, he later on texted me back and said, "Sorry, it was wrong one. It wasn't who I thought it was." And he's like, "Sorry, didn't mean to scare you, but."
Right. And who is Brandon?
He is it's Pete Clark's son. Not very important.
Does he come up on Ben Hill Road?
Actually, that's one that was bumped into the TBI crosshairs with Pete Clark over this case.
Just like Cotton, Pete's no longer living. And it said he was unalived in January of this year, but actually Brandon spoke about Pete often in his search with JRR.
Me and my dad tried to find from Fred to over here and David's from over here, there to here, and I never found it. Me and my dad, we try to go from David's and Fred's, and we come out on this road, I think. This is just a private lane. I know this lane. I walked down this lane with my dad. We went from David's trying to go to my Uncle Trey's.
Yeah.
When we come out, see, this is my dad, my Uncle Rick. Look, at game time, you just tell him who you are and that you talked to Brandon and that you want, he said, just check in and you pretty sure that, hey, no questions asked. If it's over the little girl, you guys can, anybody can look, anybody can, you know what I mean? Dude, I've looked. Even like them old houses, me and my dad could have fun.
What is that?
The church, bro.
Oh, people come here for church?
Yes, yes, sir. Really? Yeah, this is the church in the woods.
All the porta potties hidden in the woods from Uncle Archie said to be used as deer blinds. Lots of deer blinds all over, but ain't nobody hunting no deer over there, man. Couldn't know what all them deer blinds is for. Lookouts, binoculars, bulletproof vest, walkie-talkie. Yeah, we know.
Over here's Ben Hill Road. If you keep coming back to here, there's the old logging roads back through here, bro.
Oh, there's there?
Yeah, like right here, there's a porta potty. Where's it at? They look in it, blah, blah, blah. Ow, God bless it. Look, if I was going to do something, where is that porta potty at? Right there.
Oh, porta potty.
That's a structure right there. You know what I mean? That's so I'm saying, just no matter what, be careful. Watch your feet for snakes, dog.
Yeah.
I just shot one a few days ago. This is a porta potty. I hunted in it last year.
Why is that porta potty here?
Dude, her brother worked for a place, and there's 3 of them on this property. They gave them to him, and he took them.
Who's he?
Archie.
Archie.
Yeah. This is like 10 years ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
What were they building back here? Or they just put porta potties back here?
no, he got to take them home for free.
Oh,
So
okay.
he used them as hunting blinds, and like over at our pond over there, there's one over there, and that's for you know, people, they camp and da da da.
Maybe there was a highly skilled nuclear worker in the woods named Pete. Pete also lived on the backside of the hollow on Bays Mountain. Cotton lived on the front side of the hollow. The Wildens lived in the middle. You remember the Wildens? They married in the Cotton side. And also was the ones busted with Ricky Jr. recently, which is interesting. Because Ronnie Lawson said there would be moving in some of Wells' case last year. And all of a sudden, all at the same time, Brad Hill gets busted, Ricky Hill and his lady, Wilder, I was one of them wildings held that with Dudley Uncle held them people hostage. Over some, you ain't pay me my money from 3 days worth of some drugs.
They follow you guys. Get in a vehicle and you follow him.
Yeah, to the top of Mountain View.
To the top of Mountain View.
That's where I turned around, was at the top of
And
Mountain
you guys
View.
were in the same vehicle, you and Marvin?
Yeah.
So you guys follow him to see because you thought
Because he kept acting worried about getting robbed. For some reason. That's what we was more concerned about at the time, because he kept letting on like with all that money on him and stuff, he was worried about getting robbed. He was wanting to get back home.
So did he know you guys were following him?
No.
Just being nosy?
Yeah.
And then you followed him to that.
We went to top of the mountain there at Mountain View and turned from Mountain View on. I'm trying to think what that big mountain or mountain trail or something that he pulled onto and back into the church.
Cotton Simpson.
And that's where his vehicle was found the next day and stuff.
Fred's friend, Chad Arnold, was present on Ben Hill Road the day someone went missing and saw Candace walking off Fred Hill's driveway. Suspicious. Absolutely. And Andy Paul. Absolutely. Andy Paul Morgan. A man Fred allegedly ran off after he was caught supplying drugs to a minor at Chad Arnold's house. Andy Paul had ties to Candace Block because he stayed on that property in a camper.
It was at Chad's house.
When was that? How long ago? See,
Um,
Fred was under the impression it was an Andy Paul. Was there an Andy Paul there?
Yeah, Andy Paul was there.
Okay.
That's who I'm talking about, give her the stuff.
And is this Andy Paul the one that was renting the place off Dawn? That camper? Yeah. Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Did he take off after that incident?
Fred run him off, told him if he didn't leave, then he was something bad's gonna happen.
Perhaps even the Clyde Trent, a name that keeps circling the case like a vulture. Caw. She has many associated with the last name Morgan. Clyde Trent wasn't just another player. She was the best friend of Don Wells' mother, Karen Gold. The likelihood that she was related to Ricky Trent? Highly. The likelihood that she knew more than she was saying? Even higher. The network of intertwining lies, overlapping criminal histories, and whispered accusations. Some of these people have been brushed against by the law, yet still the truth remains out of reach. Were any of them involved?
Y'all know Andy Paul or Andy Morgan?
Yes, I do. I don't know him.
Could Andy Morgan be the Green Eyes? And who stole that man's $10,000 fight ring?
His what?
His $10,000 champion Dudley. We both from Louisiana. They fight them roosters over there like in our bloodline. And
Yeah, cockfights. Yeah.
Yeah. This Green Eyes said these people on Ben Hill stole his champion.
Yeah.
And you know what that means? Like
No.
that man, that's real. It might not have nothing to do with the case, but that's what Green Eyes is threatening. That somebody took a knife at him, stole his rooster.
Chad, known as a gravedigger at the cemetery directly across from the Wells property, was often seen creeping through the area at night. He was the type to never have had a cell phone and entirely disconnected from social media. He also had an uncanny ability to break wild horses, a brutal skill that only added to the local law surrounding him.
Tom, do you know who a Chad Arnold is?
Yes, I do. Chad Arnold was at Fred Hill's house when Candace was looking for Summer. She drove back in a hauler to Fred Hill's house, and Chad Arnold was hanging out back there. I've been to Chad Arnold's house before, and he had all kinds of people hanging out in his
Was he a
shed.
cracky?
Is he what?
Was he like a meth head like Fred Hill?
Yes. Chad Arnold loves his meth. Yes, he does. I went to visit him. Chad Arnold trains horses, so he's really good at that. But he loves his methamphetamine.
Do you think Chad, Cotton, and Fred took some, or somebody just asked me that question?
I have no clue. But it's just like Dudley. That day, that weekend, I guess he went and done dope all weekend. He showed up Monday, and I guess I fired him Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember. I can't deal with that stuff.
Candace says she saw Chad Arnold up there at your driveway. Chad Arnold wasn't there when you guys were there?
No. Chad come in while we was gone.
Okay, do you know if anyone else showed up when you guys were gone?
Not that I know of.
So Chad Arnold did show up while you were gone. And when you guys got home, was Chad Arnold still there?
No.
So he had left. How did you know he was there then? Just what you heard from Candace, or did Fred talk to him?
He came the next day. He came in the next day.
Oh, and he said he had been up there?
Yeah, and that he seen Candace at the bottom of the driveway.
Okay. All right.
Most important is this dark blue pickup truck with tinted windows that you felt was very important in this tip. Do you know who's in the blue truck?
And how did Chad Arnold get up there when he would go up there? Did he drive? Did he walk? Did he?
He drove a Ford truck.
What color was his truck?
Blue.
So he drove a blue Ford truck. I noticed that at that time, Chad Arnold and Frances had been having relationship problems. Do you know where Chad was staying? Because he actually had a restraining order. He wasn't supposed to be staying over there with Frances.
He was living on the river. On his land.
So what land do you talk? His land? Which land is this?
In Churchill.
Okay, so over there off of California Avenue?
Yep.
Okay, so he wasn't staying there with his mom, Peggy, then. He was staying, like, on the river?
I don't know if he stays with his mom and he stays on the river, so I don't know.
Oh, that's right. He was staying on the river. That's right. Haskell Rhines took me to way out there in the mountains on a river, somebody's house on the river, like his uncle's or something. Wasn't he staying at somebody's house on the river? Yeah, it's way out there to try to, because I wanted to talk to him because I was trying to talk to Chad, but he didn't really want to talk.
So the Holston, the big river, Holston River that goes up there, the same one. That's the same one then that also runs there where Laurel Run Park is and all that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So now the other question is, I know you didn't know Roy Cotton Simpson well, but you did see him a few times. The same situation was happening with him. His wife also kicked him out. Then you're saying, Ziggy, that you actually also saw that he was out there on the river. So what direction, which river? You're talking about the...
I don't know what river it was because I just went where Haskell told me to turn, and that wasn't probably the smartest thing for me to do, to be in a car with Haskell alone, but I was, and it happened.
A new layer to Chad Arnold is added when Andy Bernard brings up Morrison Cemetery during a conversation back in February of 2025. It was an odd detail to mention, but notable. The location has long been speculated about by internet sleuths due to its proximity and visibility, but had never been officially acknowledged until that moment. This was a chilling detail, especially with Chad Arnold being the local gravedigger at that exact cemetery. The TBI came out and said they were following up on a recent tip and that they would never give up on finding Summer. Around this same period, Marlena Crawford, whose sister is in a relationship with Chad Arnold, another tie to Ricky Jr., suddenly appears on YouTube to address the rumors swirling around him. Her tone was strange. Some viewers felt she was defending Chad, others believed she was inadvertently throwing him under the bus. Chad's name, which had rarely been mentioned, was now front and center in one of the most scrutinized corners of missing persons investigations on the internet. Then came June 28th. Chad Arnold was arrested for a probation violation tied to a prior drug charge. Normally, someone in his situation would see a judge within a few days, possibly a week at most, accounting for weekends and docket schedules. Chad's hearing wasn't rescheduled once but twice. Chad has still not seen a judge and will not appear in court until July 21st. That's a 3-week delay with no explanation. During that exact window of silence, on July 3rd, the Wells family posted on social media thanking the TBI for asking to search over the road below our house. This statement caught immediate attention. Some believed they were referring to the driveway and mailbox area. But why would the TBI phrase it that way? Over the road. That specific language led many to believe they were referencing Morrison's cemetery, the same cemetery Andy had flagged months earlier, the same cemetery where Chad had worked as a part-time gravedigger. The implication was unsettling. From here, the theories surrounding Chad Arnold branch out in several directions. Perhaps he was just a witness, someone who saw Candace searching and nothing more. Maybe he saw Andy that day and could finally resolve the contradiction between Fred and Andy's versions of the timeline. It's also possible Chad heard something later on, something secondhand, and has kept it to himself out of fear or loyalty. Then there's the darker possibility that Chad, with access to graves and terrain few others understood, may have played a role in hiding something, knowingly or not. And yet, it is equally plausible that he is entirely innocent and simply afraid to speak, understanding how social media has dismantled reputations with nothing but speculation. So, who is Chad Arnold, really? Is he the missing piece? The one person who could pull a thread that unravels a case 4 years cold? Or is he a silent bystander, caught in the gravity of other people's lies? We may never know unless he decides to speak. But if there's one name left that could stitch together the fractured accounts of June 15, 2021, it might just be the one we've heard the least from, Chad Arnold.
Okay.
Scooby fucking doo. If not for those pesky meddling kids.
Back to what I do. Catfish, Billy, baby, hello, how are you? Yo, by 9 numbers like a power line, fell into a swimming pool. I think I got the whole crew. Ooh, let me know what y'all wanna do. I bought a 30-pack of Creek water, baby boo. Not a 99, not a 99.99, not mine. I got 100 proof.
They're gonna be sorry they were ever born.
Who?
All of them.